life gives you who you are and not what you want. Because if you are still in a state of wanting it and hoping for it and being like, oh, it would be so nice if I could have this, if I could be this, then it does not feel natural to you. You are not in that state. You are not thinking from it. You're not in the wish fulfilled. You're still seeing it as somewhere separate from you, and that's why you can't see the results of your desired reality. So in this video, I want to talk with you about the feeling of naturalness, how to achieve it, and why it is so important. So with that, let's just dive right in. So the time it takes your assumption, right, the new state that you shift into to become fact, to manifest, for your desire to be fulfilled, is directly proportionate to the naturalness of the feeling of already being what you want to be, right, or already having what you desire. So this is for the people who always ask the question, okay, but how long does it take, right? I do this, I do that, how long will it take? Well, here you got the answer. Once you made your desired state natural, it has its own appointed hour, but you can control how long you take to make your desired state natural. You can control how often you dwell in the wish fulfilled to make it very natural, very certain, and to self-persuade yourself that it is already done. So the time it takes for the manifestation is directly connected to how natural do you feel about already having it, already being it. And regardless of your desire, regardless of how faithfully and intelligently you follow the law, if you do not feel natural about what it is that you want to be and what it is that you want to have, you will not be it. So naturalness is a perfect description of dwelling in the wish-fulfilled state, making that normal, making that natural for you. And if it does not feel natural to you to get a better job, for example, you will not get a better job, right? Only when you gave yourself the wish fulfilled within, right? Belief you have received, only when you dwelled within already in what would it be like to have this new job, right? With this anchor question, you can get into any state, right? What would it be like if I'm this? What would it be like if I have this? And you start to imagine, you start to dwell in it, you start to feel into that new state, then it becomes natural. But if you always just keep hoping and thinking of the desire that you want to manifest, it will not show up, it will not manifest. So the big question now in this video is, how can the feeling of naturalness achieved? We now already realize that without feeling natural about it, if we still think that it's out of our reach, that this is something we can't get, and we see this desired state as separate, well, it won't manifest, because life only gives you what you already have alive inside of you. Life only gives you this state that you already activated within you, the state you dwell in. So now that we know that, how can we make a new state natural? That is the big question. And the secret lies in one word. Okay, and this one word is imagination. Don't be confused when you hear the word imagination, right? Don't think that, oh, that's just mind fantasy and things like that. You can simply translate imagination to being aware of something that's right now not manifested, because that is exactly what imagination is. Imagination is seeing with the eye of God, right? Imagination is being aware of something, noticing something, becoming conscious of something that is in existence. Otherwise, you could not hear a congratulation, feel sand on your feet, even though you're in your living room, right? Your imagination allows you to go beyond your senses. It can be trained, it is overlooked, it is simply declared as a fantasy, or only childs do that. But it's one of the most powerful things to consciously apply and to be aware of something that's right now unseen. And then the question becomes, do you believe more what your eyes tell you, or do you believe more what you experience in your imagination? But now back to the question of naturalness, right? How can we achieve it? And the answer is imagination, but how does it work? And then Neville gives a very powerful example where he says, for example, let's just say that you would be chained to a very heavy iron bench. Okay, so around your foot would be a chain and you would be chained to an iron bench. You could not possibly run. In fact, you could not even walk. Right? In this circumstance, it would be not natural for you to run, because everything tells you, your senses tell you, your rational mind tells you, you're chained to this bench. You can't stand up, you can't run, because you could not even feel that it was natural for you to run. But you could easily imagine yourself running. And now comes the key point, so I want you to listen. In that instant, while your consciousness is filled with you imagining yourself running, you have forgotten that you are bound. in your imagination, your running was completely natural. Right? So even though everything in your world right now tells you that things are as they are, the circumstances are as they are, the health situation, the relationship situation, the business situation, the money situation, and everything tells you, okay, this is what is right now. So you have right now no reason to believe that something else is possible for you. But when you start to fill your mind, to fill your consciousness, to fill your inner realm, your inner reality with this experience of now, in this case, running, in another case, having the job, having the successful business, having the relationship, being healthy, X, Y, and Z, then at some point it will start to feel natural, even though externally you still see the old state reflected back to you. So here's the answer. The essential feeling of naturalness can be achieved by persistently, right? Not just once and then going back to the old state. No, but by persistently filling your consciousness, filling your inner world, filling your inner reality with imagination, right? With dwelling in the wish fulfilled, right? Imagining yourself being what you want to be or having what you desire. That is straight to the point why naturalness is so important and how you can achieve it, right? If you start to think of your desire again, it will seem very unnatural because it will seem far away. Thinking of create separation and to see your desired state, who you want to be, what you want to have as something that's not accomplished yet. Thinking from, aka dwelling in the wish fulfilled, imagining what it would be like to already have it, to already be it, that will start to over time make it natural. Maybe not after a day, maybe not after 3 days, maybe not even after a week. But when you return back to this simple formula of filling your inner world with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, right? Assuming it, feeling into it, playing with these questions, utilizing the methods that are out there in the law of assumption so that you can fill up your inner world with what it would be like and with that end state, well then you'll manifest it. Then it will be natural for you. And what is natural to you has to be reflected back from the mirror of life, right? Because what is natural to you, that is what you have alive within you. And the saying is, as within, so without. Your life shows you who you are, what you have alive inside of you. And I want to conclude this video with this very simple illustration that you see on the screen right now, because that perfectly summarizes it. Okay, so let's just say that bringing it back to the bench example, where you are chained to a bench with a heavy chain, right? You have two opportunities, right? You can dwell in what your senses show you right now. So you could dwell on, oh no, I'm chained. Maybe I will have to wait until someone finds me and can help me, right? So you are basically dwelling in the current circumstances. I declared them right now as the old state, the old circumstances. You dwell on that, or you let the facts of life be the facts. You don't try to fight them. You don't try to ignore them. You acknowledge them. Yes, they're there, but inwardly you give yourself the feeling state of what you want to have, right? You don't rely on the senses. You don't rely and take your cue from what the world shows you. You feel however you want to feel right now, and that is, to some degree, even like your superpower is to feel, to produce any feeling state within you, no matter what the current circumstances still show you. So that's the second option, is that you dwell in the desired state, aka you fill up your inner world with what it would be like to run, and you imagine yourself running in the park, and then you open your eyes and then you look at the iron chain, and at some point it will feel unnatural. It will feel like no longer belonging to you because you already made something else natural in your internal world. And that is the real power, is that you can, your inner man can already stand in the wish fulfilled, whereas the physical you, if you open your eyes, you look into your world, you still see the old circumstances, but they feel unnatural because internally you already view the world from a new state. You already made something new natural. And one easy way, of course, to achieve that is if you ask yourself, okay, I'm chained. What would imply that I'm no longer chained? Well, for example, that I run, because if I can run, that means I'm no longer chained. So let me imagine a scene where I'm running, because that implies that the previous circumstances are no longer the case for me. And then as you start to imagine that, return back to that scene, return back to that imaginative, real experience, it will start to take on naturalness. It will start to feel normal and certain to you as you start to return back to it. But persistently fill up your inner world with that experience, with that feeling of the wish fulfilled, and then it will become natural. If you need any help with what I just explained, with everything I explained on my channel, Neville's teachings, law of assumption, if you feel you have a desire, but for some reason you waver, you fall out of a state and you want some accountability, I have two resources that I always recommend you check out. One is my free masterclass. That's the first link in the video description, pinned comments, where you can simply learn how to shift, what is important, what you should focus on, and how all of that works, right? Summarized in 30 minutes. And if you feel at some point you want some more personal accountability, you want some coaching, you want support, you want like-minded people in the private space that you can also connect with, you want a step-by-step structured system on how to implement all of that in your life, then I invite you to schedule a free 45-minute call with me or my team so that we can simply find out if we are a good fit, if we can help you where you stand right now, what would be important in your situation. So that's it. Speak to you in the next one. Bye, guys.